Turn the mic on. Truth in the building. No filters. No politics. No apologies. Dr. Ken, let's go. We don't quit till the whole thing shake. Truth hit hard, make the whole world wait. Real talk loud when the system fade. Stand tall, even when the whole ground break. No fear, no foe, no retreat. Pressure make diamonds when the fire meet heat. All gas, no brakes. When the truth gon' speak, Dr. Ken in the booth.
Truth don't sleep.
Came from the bottom when survival was a law. Learn real quick what respect really costs. Everybody got opinions from afar, but they ain't never had to carry those scars. Built from pressure, discipline, pain. Some lose focus, some lose aim. Some sell souls just to chase that fame. I build my brick by brick, no shame. See the world get weak when they need a moment. Too many followers pretending they friends. Too many loudmouths scared to defend any real conviction when the pressure set in. But I stand on business, stand on code, stand on truth when the lies explode. Some fold up when the road gets cold. Some become legends when the story gets told. We don't quit till the whole thing shake. Truth hit hard, make the whole world wait. Real talk loud when the system fades. Stand tall, even when the whole ground breaks. No fear, no foe, no retreat. Pressure make diamonds when the fire meet heat. All gas, no brakes. When the truth gon' speak, Dr. Ken is on.
Truth don't sleep.
Frank. Candid.
Straight to the point.
If nobody else gon' say it, I will. Yeah. Mic check, truth coming, live again. Built for the storm, I don't hide from when. Everybody tough when the lights are bright. Different story when it's dark outside at 10. I done seen pride make kings collapse. Seen weak minds get trapped in traps. Seen good people never fight back. Seen fake leaders disappear too fast. So I speak for the workers, speak for the tired. Speak for the people still trying to climb higher. Speak for the ones still building through fire. Trying to lead this world better than prior. And if the truth hurt, let it hurt a little. Growth don't happen staying safe in the middle. Either build your life or become a riddle. Either move the crowd or get played like fiddle. We don't quit till the whole thing shake. Truth hit hard, make the whole world wait. Real talk loud when the system fades. Stand tall, even when the whole ground break. No fear, no foe, no retreat. Pressure make diamonds when the fire meet heat. All gas, no brakes. When the truth gon' speak, Dr. Ken in the booth.
Truth don't sleep.
Dr. Ken's truth. Frank, Dr. Ken's truth. Dr. Ken's truth. Dr. Ken's truth. Frank, Candid.
Straight to the point, to the point.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're listening. This is Dr. Ken's Truth. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. So, what's going on today? How's everything going today? Yesterday was kind of crazy. Some of the weather and some of the issues that were going on in the city. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to dive into all the crazy things that are going on. I want to say, what's up to the chat? Let me check before I go to the chat. What's up, Todd? Todd is our assistant superintendent study hall manager. So I'm just make up a title every day. Who was here first? Curly Q, you got into the fold in study hall first. Want to say, hey, what's up, Curly Q? What's up, Todd? What's up, SE? It's little old me, along with Kathleen. What's going on? And Sir Chance got here on time, believe it or not. And of course, Jazzy Jasmine Jazz West is hanging out as well, dancing to the music, doing what she always do. So I want to say welcome. Of course, we're keeping Kwanda in our prayers. She lost her brother, 42 years old, so she's traveling. And, you know, make sure you keep her in your prayers and keep everything going. Keep the city of Milwaukee in your prayers. You know, life is funny. And you know, there's seasons to life. existing has seasons of peace and seasons of war. And one of the biggest mistakes we make, I think, is believing that when everything is going well, it's time to stop preparing. And that's wrong. When things are going well, that's exactly when you should actually prepare. Now, when you have money coming in, that's when you save. When your health is good, that's when you develop healthy habits. You eat right, you work out, all those things, 150 minutes a week, just so you know. When your business is successful, that's when you prepare for the downturn. When your career is secure, that's when you sharpen your skills. You kind of peek out there and see if other jobs are out there. And when your community is relatively calm, that's when you build the relationships, the institutions, the leadership, the resources you're going to need when trouble comes, because trouble is going to come. The question isn't whether you'll face adversity. The question is, what condition will you be in when it arrives? Preparation is not exciting. Nobody applauds preparation. Oh, you were so prepared. Nobody throws you a parade. Nobody celebrates the hundreds of hours you spend reading and studying and practicing and training and running and planning and preparing and doing all that stuff. They only see you when the crisis comes, and somehow you're ready. They might call you lucky, but we know luck didn't do that. Preparation did. And when nobody was watching, you studied when everybody else was playing. You saved when everybody else was spinning like a drunken sailor. You practiced when everybody else was talking. You built relationships. Now watch this. Before you needed a favor. You developed discipline before you needed strength. And sooner or later, everybody struggles. That means you. That means me. And whatever it is, you don't want to start preparing after the battle starts. Because if you do, it's too late. Here's something else. Rest can make you soft if you let it. Comfort has a way of convincing us that tomorrow's going to be the same way it is today. It's going to look exactly the same way today looks. History tells us otherwise. Businesses collapse, jobs disappear, people get fired, markets change. Look at AI. Technology changes industries. Everything changes. That's why discipline matters. Prepare today for problems you can't see yet, problems that are around the corner, out in front of your skis. No, not fear, it's wisdom. Preparation doesn't mean walking around expecting failure, expecting disaster. It means understanding that when adversity finally knocks on your door, and it will, you're not going to be, with your first response, whoa, I wish I had planned for it. I wish I had prepared. So what do you need to do? You need to train. You need to learn. You need to build. You need to practice. You need to read. You need to develop yourself. You really need to. Because the easiest time to prepare for a storm is when the sun is still shining. The difference between surviving adversity and being destroyed by it isn't strength. It's like the saying, when you sweat in times of peace, the less you bleed in times of war. What is that called? That's called life. Let me get back. You're listening to Dr. Ken's Truth. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. We're here every Monday through Thursday, 4 o'clock Central Time, or somewhere around in there. So we're going to try to be as consistent as possible. Spring is coming. I'm sorry, fall is coming. And, so we got so many things. I love spring. I love springtime, the transition between winter and spring. And I love the transition between summer and fall. And then after that, you can kill it. So let me go back to the YouTube chat. I said, what's up to here? Hey, what's up, Willie? How's it going? If I miss somebody, charge it to my head, not my heart. Hey, what's up, True? How's it going? I am reminded the grasshopper and the ant. Yep. Very true. Very true. Very true. Todd says, save that money. Money almost cures all ills. Curly Q said, build relationships before you need a favor. Trying to teach this to my college kid now. Yeah. It's important that you may need something and you may need someone. And so sometimes you need to reach out and, say something to somebody. I have people that call me and they only call me when they need something. They only call me when they want something. And I find it interesting because they tend to not call me in between. And I'm not a caller either. I'm not one of those guys. I get distracted and do other stuff and all that. But I've had people, I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and we're gonna connect and they haven't done it, and it's been over a year. Had I been sitting around waiting for that person to call me, I wouldn't have gotten anything done, sitting by the phone waiting for somebody. And that's just how life is. Sometimes life just moves forward. It just moves forward, and it is what it is, And you could cry about it, you can be upset about it, or you can just move forward. Todd said he likes spring and the fall too. I do too. Summer, I like heat. So I like Arizona. I like dry heat. I like just being, and a lot of people look at me like I'm weird and strange when I'm out there because I'm walking with a hat on and sunglasses. Like, oh my God, it's so hot. I'm like, dude, I just love sub-zero weather. The wind chill was 48 below. I'm in 100-degree weather. I'm okay. That's about 148 degree difference in weather. So I'm good. I absolutely love it. What is going on in Milwaukee today? Well, we had storms yesterday. Y'all remember that, right? We had a lot of storms. I was kind of watching as the storms passed through southeastern Wisconsin yesterday. Tree damage. There was Sherman Boulevard was blocked at Keefe, southbound, all the lanes. And this morning, where was it? Like at Garfield North, whatever the street is north. No, it's not, it wasn't Garfield. It's north of North Avenue, about a block north, mid-block. It was like 2 trees down, completely blocked southbound Sherman Boulevard. It was pretty bad. Trees, infrastructure. 26,000 people in Milwaukee County are without power and were without power this morning. Milwaukee DPW reported hundreds of requests for tree removal or assistance. I call some of them. All this information is coming from Fox 6 News, Milwaukee. Damage was documented multiple locations around Milwaukee. Fallen trees, limbs. And I saw some pictures of some people that had, their house and their car crushed. This is today's highest impact event because it affects thousands of residents all at the same time. There's a baseball game yesterday. Storm swirled over it. They kept playing baseball. Kind of weird. What are some things we're going to have to look at? Well, one, we got to look at the power restoration timetable. We need to make sure that We Energies is doing what they do. Traffic light outages, be on the lookout for it. Downed electrical lines, damage to houses. How much is it going to cost to clean all this stuff up for the city? Check on your vulnerable residents, your elderly that are next door to you, businesses that get interrupted. I don't know what the straight line winds, tornado activity, or all that stuff is, but we gotta check on that. This morning was kind of busy, believe it or not. There were two shootings. 12:30 a.m. a 28-year-old was shot near 24th and Hour. An 18-year-old was taken into custody, and the case is being referred to the DA's office. So we'll see how that turns out. And at about 5:45 this morning, 27-year-old was wounded near 62nd and Capitol. Police are looking for, as they call them, unknown suspects. This also comes from Fox 6 News. Now, there was a weird story coming from City Hall. Alderman Lamont Westmoreland from Milwaukee acknowledged he posted a fabricated image showing the city's moving city reckless driving art vehicle crushed beneath a tree. Now, the actual tree damage across Milwaukee was real, but it showed a car that was damaged that really wasn't. And Westmoreland said he created the image to attract attention to storm safety information, and later added a disclaimer after Fox 6 Now contacted him. I don't know if you remember this car. It cost $88,000. Bizarre. Part of the city's Vision Zero, probably what they should have paid for the car. Traffic safety effort. Westmoreland has criticized that particular expenditure, and I'm kind of in agreement, but this is more important than the image that he posted. It represents a useful contemporary government communication question, right? Here's a question. Should elected officials ever intentionally circulate realistic fabricated imagery, AI, even for humor, satire, or public service messaging without telling us, hey, y'all, this is fake? I don't know. The issue is relevant because people are using it in the media, especially social media, and it can be pretty convincing. So I'm just saying. Here's another tragic story from Milwaukee County Jail. A 45-year-old man died yesterday after being transported from West Allis police custody to Milwaukee County Jail. So according to the sheriff's office, he initially passed a medical screening, and shortly before 8:30 a.m., he started vomiting and feeling ill. Medical personnel decided he should be transported to a hospital, but he experienced a medical emergency while preparations were underway, and was pronounced dead at 9:30 a.m. Waukesha County Sheriff's Office, of course, is investigating, because you have to have an outside agency do the investigation. That's the protocol for an in-custody death. We don't know why the death occurred. Was it misconduct, negligence, wrongdoing, or was it simply he was ill and he passed away? So a medical examiner is going to look at toxicology. They look at the arrest timeline, jail medical records, how fast the ambulance responded, video, how fast did the deputies respond, and of course, Waukesha County and all of their investigative findings. Crowley and Tiffany, right? David Crowley is running against Tom Tiffany for governor, Democrat versus Republican, and so we'll have to take a big look at that. But they were discussing data centers. I would say it's a substantive issue because some people like them, some people don't. Both of them support data centers with some restrictions. Local communities should have substantial control. Data centers should pay for infrastructure demands they create. So if you want to build, you're going to have to build water lines and reduce sewers and sidewalks. They should pay for that. That's just me. If you're going to build it, you should pay for it, just like you should pay for the water. Non-disclosure agreements between developers and municipalities should be prohibited. Everybody should know everything that's going on. It's another story from Fox 6 News, Milwaukee. Their differences include subsidies and incentives. Now, here's the deal. Tiffany proposes eliminating a subsidy, while Crowley has not categorically ruled it out if Wisconsin receives an economic benefit. I'm kind of in line with that. A July Marquette Law School poll cited in the report found 76% of respondents said data center costs outweigh the benefits. Although only 5% identified data centers as Wisconsin's most important issue. Everybody said inflation and cost of living is much, much higher. I'm just saying. And I'll be talking about this in my top 5. Federal MPS discipline investigation has major Black Milwaukee implications because we're the largest, if I'm not mistaken, the largest minority group in Milwaukee Public Schools. U.S. Department of Education is investigating whether MPS uses race as a factor when disciplining students. I don't know how you're going to figure that one out, but it is what it is. We'll dive into it a little bit later, but it generates a couple questions. One, are Black students disproportionately disciplined because of unequal treatment? Or should schools ever consciously consider race when trying to remedy the disparity? Well, my top of the mind answer is no. These are related, but not identical questions. This is getting into a big civil rights and education issue, and so we need to look at some things and ask some questions, like what specific MPS policy triggered federal review? That's one. Second, does MPS explicitly consider race in making a discipline decision? And is a district instead analyzing aggregate racial disparities of everybody? What are the suspension rates? What conduct caused the suspension? Is discipline equitable? I don't know if you could really ask that question, but it's one that's out there. If you don't act the fool, I mean, what do we do? Spank Hmong children because Black children are getting spanked, or discipline Hmong children because it's just, I don't know. Does Milwaukee have measurable evidence of differential treatment? We don't know. Without those answers, anything you would come up with would be premature. That's just me. That court administrator made her way to court. She appeared in court. We talked about it the other day. 3 people charged following an undercover drug investigation. They appeared in court yesterday, including the suspended Milwaukee County Court Administrator, Samotria Matthews, charged with maintaining a drug trafficking place as party to a crime. Her husband and her son face additional charges involving cocaine, fentanyl, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Bond was set at $2,500. The other 2 defendants remain in custody. They each got a $75,000 bond. So that's that. So what are we looking at? What's going on in the city? Couple things we need to look at. Number one, information integrity. We need to look at it. Westmoreland posting that image made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. And so how do you distinguish authentic pictures from fakery? All right. So we've got elections coming up, and I think it's going to be a recurring political and media issue. With MPS, it could become part of a national civil rights fight. Like, this is going to impact school districts all over the country. So we got to take a look at that. And Wisconsin has billions of dollars in planned data center investments, and both gubernatorial candidates are already proposing guardrails. So since the election, both of them have fallen on the same side about the same thing and the same issue. So what's the difference between the two? Do you vote for them just because they're a Democrat? Or do you vote for them just because they're Republican? Or do you vote for them just because they're Black? Or do you vote for them just because they're white? I don't know. That's a decision you're going to have to make. Regarding Milwaukee County Jail, we got to start looking at these vulnerabilities that are happening. Custodial deaths, we're going to get probably sued. You got legal, medical, public trusts. It's a death investigation, not a wrongdoing investigation. So nobody did anything wrong. But of course, what we'll do is we tend to sue immediately simply because it happened in the jail. So we'll see. We shall see. So what's been happening outside of Wisconsin, outside of Milwaukee? Well, the U.S.-Canada trade agreement and tariff pause, President Trump temporarily suspended, threatened 50% tariffs on roughly $20 billion in Canadian imports for 3 days, saying these two countries have reached an agreement subject to final documentation. This was reported in the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Associated Press, and New York Post. They all carried the trade development. What does that mean for Wisconsin? Well, I think it means that Wisconsin, because we have a deep impact economically with Canada, manufacturing and agriculture, a lot of it with Canada. Any trade escalation could move input, could move input costs, exports, and consumer prices are going to go up. So we got to be really, really careful of that. This is a good thing for the state of Wisconsin. U.S. and Iran conflict still going on, Strait of Hormuz. The Middle East remains the largest global risk variable. The United Arab Emirates suspended trade with Iran after accusing Iran of shooting a missile at them. The Strait of Hormuz is a major risk to shipping and energy markets. You know, we're getting hammered, and our gas prices have gone through the absolute roof because of it. And so I don't know, but we have to take a look at that. Let me jump on the YouTube chat and see what you all are talking about based on what I was saying. Does anybody else show up? Anybody different show up? Last time I talked, I thought I mentioned Willie. Hey, what's up, Lucretia? How's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Todd mentioned about when I was talking about friends calling. He said, your true friends can call after a long time and you didn't miss a beat. That is true. JJW, that's Jasmine Jazz West, by the way, said, tip from my father, always sit in front of the class and participate. Other than that, I love the fall. Fall has better fashion. That's because everything covered up. Anyway, did I say that out loud? Anyway, Curly Q said, I love the summer. Give me all the heat. All the heat. What does 22 zip mean, Todd? Is that a baseball score? I hope it is with the Brewers. Todd said, Curly, I seen the other station yesterday. You want to go to all 30 parks. How many you been to? I love baseball, so that's a good doc. Yep, love absolutely. I've never had the inkling to want to travel to go to a baseball park. I mean, out of all the things I'd want to do. Oh, look, I've been to, is Fenway even still there? You know, you've been to Boston and you've been to New York, Yankee Stadium, and in Chicago, and never really did it. I just like watching the game. Curly Q answered, not many, Todd, maybe 4 in my lifetime. Kauffman, Old Tiger Stadium, in the Orioles Park. Trying to read the rest of the message. Okay. So I have work to do, but it'll be a fun challenge for sure. I don't know if that's a fun challenge. What are you doing today? I think I'm going to go around and watch a baseball park. I don't know. I don't think so. Todd said, that's my dream. I've been to 5. And I heard Baltimore's really cool. True D said, I believe President Obama weighed in on taking race into consideration when discipline is concerned. While I understand that, if you're acting up and more black kids are acting up than white kids, is there a disparity? And really, disparity isn't a negative word. Disparity just simply means there's a difference. But that doesn't mean that difference is wrong because it's present. If more black kids are acting up in school, then do something about it. But you can't stop a school from disciplining kids who are acting up. It's their job. It's just kind of weird. You're suspending more kids. Well, look at what they did. This is the policy. If you don't break the policy doesn't apply to you. But for some reason, we have this thing in our brains that, you know, black kids are getting picked on. It's just like traffic stops. Sure, you can choose and pick when to pull over because traffic is discretionary. So in that instance, you could say there's a negative disparity because more black people get pulled over. Now, the flip side to that, if you don't drive like a fool, if you keep your license current, if you keep your plates, your registration current, you keep your insurance current, don't speed or have accidents all over the place, you're probably not going to have police contact. And there are a lot of black people in Milwaukee who've not had police contact. Their police contact is on social media watching a video. Now, am I generalizing? Yes. Do I know the data, the hard data for sure? No. But in the end, based on my experience over 30 years, usually you have to give people a chance to pull you over, because now with video cameras and flock cameras and videos out in the community, odds are the police aren't going to go out of their way to do something to you because of race. Now, does it happen? Yes, it most certainly happens. So if you ever see this video somewhere and it cuts off at that point, remember there was something that was said after that. There are instances, documented instances, where racial profiling occurs. And I've seen it, and I've done things to curb it. But in the end, we have to admit that that does actually happen. True D said, put data centers on abandoned factory and warehouse sites. Yeah, that's where they should go. Yeah, we tried that at Midtown, and everybody said no, and they screamed and hollered and, pitched a fit because I guess they thought, I don't know what they thought, because the majority of people that were complaining about it didn't even live in the neighborhood, but yet they sat and complained, oh my God, it's terrible. Oh, they're horrible. Oh. And it just didn't make any sense. Made no sense whatsoever. I don't understand why people do it. It is what it is. We have to stop people coming in and complaining and having more input in a community that they don't live in. But the flip side to that, putting on my black hat, Sir Chance, it's been 24 hours, so I'll get my black card back today. Sometimes people want to be your savior. And I'll be honest with you, black people don't need a savior. We don't need a savior. We don't need allies. Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you to be an ally. Nobody asked you to be a savior. Unless they ask you. And if they didn't, stop doing it. Stop making the assumption that black people are so broke, busted, and disgusted that they need help. It's not our fault that white America set us back 300 years. And so the biggest indicator of disparity in America is income, is money. That 84% of whites, that they're ahead of black people. 84%. That means that the poorest, let me rephrase that, the richest white black people are the poorest in comparison to white. That's how bad it is. That is how bad it is. And we need to be honest with ourselves, and we need to remove those barriers and make it palatable for black people to move and grow and expand and leave legacy wealth. Teach them how. Show them what the laws are. Show them what creating a trust and all those things. And I'm working on some guests I want to bring on to really talk about those things so I can put it out on the internet, out on social media. Those things that ensure that black people can grow old and leave a legacy and do all sorts of things. So Todd said tied 100-year plus record last year for what? JJW said Curly Q long-winded name is settled. So she's just going to be JJW. She's not going to be Jasmine Jazz West. Why did she just put Jazz West? I don't know. I have no idea why. All I know is Top 5 at 5 is up next. Wow, I was looking at the Brewers. Thanks for the update, Todd. Brewers game 22-zip. Wow. True D said Arizona too dry. Love green. When you're retired, you can face weather on your own terms. That's true. That's true. That is true. That's why I absolutely love it. Where's Babar? Where's Babar? My top 5 before 5 has the Babar weather update. Where's he at?
Number 5.
Well, it looks like the storms tore through. WISN.com is telling us severe storms that swept through southeastern Wisconsin yesterday and last night left behind widespread damage across Milwaukee, knocking down trees and power lines and leaving thousands without power. Hardest hit areas was on Girard Street near 61st and Appleton, where a massive tree came crashing down on a red Nissan. Woo! Don't drive red. The impact smashed the vehicle's windows, crushed part of the roof, and also damaged another vehicle. There's a picture here. Neighbors told WISN 12 News it was frightening to watch the storm tear through the area. There's also additional damage, so you might want to go to the website and check out the additional information. And when I saw this next story, all I thought about was like, wait, what?
Number 4.
From Fox6Now.com, Alderman Lamont Westmoreland posted a fake image that showed the city's art car crushed beneath a tree. The image was posted after tornado warning storms rolled through Milwaukee County and other parts of southeastern Wisconsin. Westmoreland did not initially say it was fake, but later admitted it was intentional and meant to grab people's attention. And he probably should have put a little warning label that said, or a little disclaimer that said, yeah, this is fake. From my next story, even though it's number 3, then there were 2.
Number 3.
From Fox News, another NBA player has decided that they want to play basketball, so they are declaring the WNBA draft. They're the second ex-pro to do so. So his name is Royce White, and he has declared for the 2027 WNBA draft just hours after fellow former player in the NBA, Enes Kanter, said that he would. What does that even mean? I don't really know, but I think it's showing the ridiculousness of the rule that the WNBA doesn't recognize gender. It's kind of weird. Well, political wise, another Democratic Socialist won.
Number 2.
I even hate reading the story. From CBS News, Florida State Representative Angie Nixon, a Democratic Socialist candidate who pulled off an upset victory over a more moderate opponent, won the Democratic nomination in the Florida Senate race. She said it's not about labels. She said it's not necessarily a socialist message or a progressive message. It's actually just about the needs of the people. Sounds familiar. Nixon defeated Alex Vindman in the primary, setting up the race against Republican Senator Ashley Moody in November. Her victory is the latest in a series of wins by progressive left. I don't know what a progressive left is, but anyway, candidates, socialist candidates, including a number of Democratic Socialists, which have underscored a key midterm dynamic as the party grapples with different visions for its future. But Nixon downplayed the divisions and labels today, saying that people want the same things, pointing to being healthy, prosperous, and safe. That is one of the scariest things. Sometime next week, if I have the time, I'll do it tomorrow. I want to dive into socialism and communism. And so I want to do a long-term thing. I'm debating whether I'm going to do my regular open, and I want to dive into talking about the history of socialism and communism. And I'm going to tell you my opinion as to why I think it's bad. But that's just me. And of course, as always, it's been a while. MPS update.
Number 1.
This one will throw you. From Wisconsin Public Radio, the U.S. Department of Education has launched an investigation into Milwaukee Public Schools discipline policies. In a statement yesterday, the department said for its Office of Civil Rights has started a federal Title VI investigation into whether MPS policy requires staff to take race into consideration during disciplinary decisions. The announcement said a similar investigation has been launched into policies in the school district of Fayetteville, Arkansas. Announcement comes after new guidance from the department aims to, quote, ensure that students are treated differently based on race, color, or national origin in matters of discipline or otherwise. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, education leaders, derided facially neutral school policies are reflecting systemic whiteness, seemingly encouraging school officials to consider race in disciplinary practices. That's what the federal statement said. About 65,500 students attend MPS, according to most recent state data. About 48% of students in the district are Black, 29% Hispanic, or Latino, 9.3% Asian, and 8.7% white. About 81% of students who attend MPS are economically disadvantaged. So that'll be coming. It's going to be interesting. They're going to be looking at that, and I know it's going to blow up nationally. A study 4 years ago found Black students face disproportionate disciplinary action at MPS. And the district also had a past settlement with the Office of Civil Rights after data from the 2011-2012 school year showed Black students represented 84% of those receiving in-school suspensions, 82% of those receiving out-of-school suspensions, and 85% of students expelled, when Black students at the time made up about 56% of the district students. Now, I don't know if those numbers reflect exactly what's been happening when students that don't disrupt, don't cause trouble, don't get in school suspensions, don't get out of school suspensions, and don't get expelled aren't Black. So at some point, if that's the case, then Black people need to step up and make sure, parents, that their kids aren't acting a fool. And that's something that has to happen. You got to make sure your kids aren't acting a fool. And if your kids are acting a fool, there has to be, I don't want to call it discipline. I'll call it consequences. There has to be some type of consequence. And the consequence may be in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension, or expulsion. But if the majority of the kids that are acting a fool or doing something wrong are non-white, non-Hispanic, and non-Asian, what do you do? That's like saying somebody drives through your neighborhood and they're driving like a fool and they get pulled over. You can't pull them over because they're Black. But if you're in a Black neighborhood, if you hit somebody or hit a pedestrian or hit another car, odds are you're going to hit another Black person. Well, what about the victim? The victim in these things, especially at MPS, are the kids that are not learning. The kids that are going to school to get an education, to go to college, to get a career in the trades, to get a career in whatever, aren't learning. And they're not learning because they're disruptions. And there has to be consequences to disruptions. So what do we do? I don't know. Well, before I get out of here, let me go check my YouTube chat. Curly Q said, how did you use your Black card yesterday? I said something and Sir Chance got all in his feelings about it. And so I had to, he took my Black card. I never knew another Black person could just take another Black person's Black card. I think that needs to be a vote. I'm just saying. It needs to be a vote. So Chance said 2 minutes, 24.5 seconds, you get it back. By the way, it was a mock Black card you lost. You have too many accolades as well as a multitude of constituents whom Whom have you well certified to ever lose your actual black card? Also, you was faking now, huh? Okay. Okay. LT said, I don't believe the rule itself is ridiculous more than the people who would try to exploit it. Most rules made without taking into consideration American greed. Okay. Hey, Curly, you said, wait, and what about the WNBA draft? Well, she said, I'm behind, obviously. Well, the WNBA draft, they have a gender neutral, because, you know, we are so sensitive to people now that, I mean, at an Atlanta game, they had to move the game to where the Hawks play. And somebody came in with an XXXY shirt, which basically said that men are men and women are women, basically, that they only believe in two genders. They made them either take the shirt off or move it. It was a story on Fox News, not Fox 6 Now, but actual foxnews.com. There's another person that came in with a pro-trans t-shirt. They made them take that off too. So we don't want to go through life making people feel uncomfortable in any way. The problem is we've created a generation or two, younger millennials and Gen Z, that get offended at everything. But then they wonder why nothing's happening for them. And I'm generalizing, of course. And their lives aren't moving the way that they wanted to move. And it's because they're too comfortable. And I've talked about it in my open. If you want to listen to it, go back to the beginning of the show. It's life. Life has bumps. Life has bruises. Life has struggles. And when you've never had it, that's what happens. You get soft. And when you get soft, it's easier. We don't want to cause any trouble. We don't want any controversy. So we're just not going to do it. It's like when I go in church on Sunday and guys are wearing hats. Etiquette, let me rephrase that. Proper etiquette, if you're a gentleman, is you remove your hat in the presence of a woman. I was taught that as a child. So when I see people go in church, drinking out of a water bottle, sipping a cup of coffee, wearing a hat, and you're a guy, that's a problem for me. But I don't get mad at it. I don't diss people. But at some point, it's kind of strange. I'm just saying. Are you caught up now, Curly Q? Okay. Todd said, Curly Q, they're going to push the limit. WNBA. Don't recognize the difference between men and women. Think that's it in a nutshell. Yeah. And so what do you think is going to happen? Men are going to go in and take all of, and I mean all of the records, the scoring records, the pass, the assists, goal, three-pointer. They're going to take everything. When they have their all-star game, they're going to be everywhere because you have to include them. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, even when they're older. So I'm just, yeah. Curly Q say guys with hats on in a building and a dinner table is crazy to me. My grandfather would go crazy if that happened. Would you go crazy? Todd said, and not taking it off during the national anthem. That's where I disagree with you, Todd. If I'm in public, if I don't want to observe the flag, the anthem, if I want to kneel, if I want to scream and holler, if I want to close my eyes, if I want to turn my back, I have a right as an American citizen to do that because we live in America and that is my constitutional right. You may not like it, but there's not a lot you can do. When you're on private property in a church, I got a problem with that. I got a major problem with that. But if you're in public, you have a right to burn the flag if you want to. The Supreme Court of the United States gave citizens that right as freedom of expression in the First Amendment to do that. I have absolutely no problem with that. Knock yourself out. Now, let's flip it over, just like MPS, right? There are consequences that come with things that you do. So if the people that don't like it control your money, control your job, control your contract, Colin Kaepernick, there are going to be circumstances that cause consequences. Now, you have a right, but it's not cool to you, Todd. To other people, it might be cool. It's their prerogative. Try not to be bothered by what they do and control you, because that's the only control you really have. And we need to learn that serenity prayer of, actually controlling the things that I can, accepting the things that you can't. And in all honesty, really knowing the difference. And that's the part that gives us our power here in America. The fact that is what the cool thing is, that we live in America. And so I think tomorrow I'm going to do socialism. I'm going to dive in. LT said, in other words, mind your business. No. See, because you have a right to speak up if you don't like it. And that's part of the consequences. So I guess y'all both right. So anyway, there go JJW dancing again. Let me go through here and say thank you to everybody. Jasmine Jazz West, what's going on? LT, Todd, Sir Chance, Curly Q. See who else is up in here. Just going through my YouTube chat. True D 2020, what's going on? While I'm dancing to my own music. Is that weird? Dancing to your own music? Boy, y'all was talking a lot. Just took over the conversation. Hey, what's up, Willie, SE, Kathleen? And I think that's it. I think I got everybody, even though we got a good number of people watching and viewing. They're not chatting. So I want to say thank you for being here this afternoon. Have a great evening. I don't think any showers are in it. Let me check the forecast right now. It is looking like it is 76 degrees. The high was 78. The low tonight is 59. So make sure you stay safe tonight. All right?
Quiet.
Make sure you stay safe and relax and all that stuff. Oh, it dropped down to 75 degrees. Sunset is at 7:47. The fall is coming. School starts back soon. So I think it'll be great, but hey, who knows? Have a great evening. Remember, you can always go to drkenswag.us and check out any swag I might have that you want to support the show, a cap, a t-shirt, a hat. Try to update with one or two things every week to make sure there's new stuff on there. So check it out. Help a brother out. God bless. Take care. Hey, Todd.
Pick your head.
That's for you. Have a great one. I'm out. Deuces.